Elpaca is an eList package manager which allows for asynchronously installing packages directly from their source repositories. It requires Emacs version 27 or higher and the Git version control system. Adding the eList shown here to your init file will install Elpaca as needed. Rather than remove my current installation, I'll use the Elpaca test macro to perform a clean install in a temporary test environment. First, the installer clones, builds, and loads Elpaca. Once loaded, Elpaca initializes its menu functions, which provide the metadata to install packages. The remainder of the init file queues and begins installing packages. The log buffer shows each package's name, status, and time-stamped output. Because Elpaca does most of its work asynchronously, the main Emacs thread is not blocked. In addition to the log buffer, the Elpaca info command will show information about specific packages. The Elpaca info buffer displays a package's menu sources, recipe, dependencies, and other information. Installation time typically depends on network speed and the number of packages installed. For example, this configuration contains just over 100 packages and typically takes anywhere from 20 minutes to it took less than a minute. Wow. Menu functions provide menu items which declare the metadata necessary to install packages. Elpaca comes configured with menu functions for popular eList package archives such as melpa, GNU Elpa, non-GNU Elpa, org, and org contrib. The Elpaca menu item command offers a completing read interface to search for menu items. The Elpaca recipe command returns a recipe from a menu item. Another way to discover and operate on packages is through the Alpaca Manager command. The Alpaca Manager buffer displays a tabular interface similar to the built-in list packages command. The header line shows the current search query and result count. The search engine allows for custom search tags which filter results. For example, the unique search tag removes duplicate menu items. The installed search tag would normally show installed packages. Prefixing it with an exclamation point negates the tag, showing packages which are not currently installed. The Alpaca UI search command, bound to S by default, reads a new search query. Calling it with a prefix argument will edit the current query. The search engine compares additional search terms against each table row. For example, to look for a new theme, add the term theme to the query. Adding a column filter, indicated by the pipe symbol, restricts search terms to specific columns of the table. The following query searches for packages which match theme in the name, dark in the description, with updates from this year. The Alpaca Manager UI can install packages. Invoking the Alpaca UI mark install command, bound to I by default, will mark the package at point for installation. The same command can mark a region of packages. Alpaca UI execute marks, bound to X by default, will execute the associated commands for all marked packages. The log buffer shows the progress of the current installation queue. The Elpaca try command offers a completing read interface for installing packages. Elpaca try reads a package recipe when called with a prefix argument. This is useful when a package has no menu item. I'll install a privately hosted package I wrote for the purpose of this demo. The package provides a test command which prints an exciting message. Wow! The methods shown so far will activate packages for the current Emacs session. Restarting Emacs will not load the packages. Declaring packages in your init file via the Alpaca macro will load them when Emacs starts. The Alpaca macro accepts an order as its first argument. The simplest type of order is a symbol, referred to as an item. In this case, the first matching menu item provides the recipe. An order may also be a partial or full package recipe. Alpaca merges partial recipes with the first matching menu item's recipe. For example, adding the host and repo recipe keywords changes the repository URL. Evaluating a declaration queues the package for installation. Alpaca evaluates the body of the declaration after processing the package's queue. In the example shown here, the top-level message for 2 will print before the message for 1. To defer forms without installing a package, pass nil as the order to an Alpaca declaration. Now the messages will evaluate in declared order. The Alpaca fetch command, bound to F in Alpaca UI mode buffers, downloads repository updates without merging them. The log shows a formatted summary of commits. Alpaca update, bound to U in Alpaca UI mode buffers, fetches and merges updates, then rebuilds the package. Also, wow! Alpaca delete, bound to D in Alpaca UI mode buffers, deletes a package from disk. To demonstrate, I'll delete all the packages which were installed during this session. That covers the basics of using Alpaca. For more information, please consult the Alpaca manual and source repository.